That login took a little too long. All right, first things first. My name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Black Series Edition LLC. Crystal Edge Technology Screens. I'm not going to say the FOEVT company because we're working on something else. But anyway, I get this a lot in a lot of forum sites. We go to forum sites all the time. We've done dozens and dozens of these demonstrations. And we tell people from the door that just because you're in a dark environment, this is not going to help your screen at all, period. Your screen still can't see color correctly. It doesn't read contrast at all, period. Doesn't make a difference if you're using ultra short throw, if you're using a long throw projector, if you're using Pico projectors, if you're using venue projectors, this doesn't make a difference. If your projector has 4K, if it's 720p, if it's 1080p, if it has an extremely high resolution capabilities, if it has massive amounts of contrast attached to it, it's just not going to work. You have to have a superior screen in order for your projector to be able to function correctly. And I can't say this enough, ultra short throws, if there's screen paints out there, especially projection screens, we know that some of those don't work with ultra short throws. Problem you have with that is the fact that you'll have to spend the money for a more expensive screen involving certifieds that spend more money for an ultra short throw compatible screen. But a screen paint, if you're not ultra short throw compatible, especially if you're talking about having a more superior level and you're switching down to you're downgrading to a gray screen to get it to work, that's bad. That's extremely bad because it's going to have the same reaction as the white surface. The gray screen's going to have it. For those just saying, well, the gray screen's a bit of an improvement. It's a little bit of an improvement. It's not going to give you much. You're still going to have a problem with it being able to read in a dark environment. And this is where I see a lot of projectors going. We do tons of demonstrations in fully lit environments, well-lit environments, to show our technology is able to produce in very well-lit environments. As a matter of fact, I just launched a challenge on that, a flex. Call them flexes because they're the challenges, match or better challenges. So here we are on site, and I'm going to show you that the 4 white sheets of paper we have up here. For those of you who want to sit there and say, well, a white sheet of paper is not the same as a 2.0 or 0.0 projection screen gain. It actually is the same thing. I used to have an Elite screen. It was a 2.0 Elite screen. It was all white. It did the same thing as a white sheet of paper. I didn't see any difference. It did the same thing as bed sheets. It really didn't see any difference at all whatsoever. It's all the same. White is white. All right, so let's show you where you're not getting what you think you're getting from your projector, even if you're sitting in a dark environment. Let's go with red screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
Okay, rest of a red screen. And there you see right there, this is the color that you're producing. And let me see some for a minute. I think it's over the top here. We are in, let me see. Let's bring that back over here. There we go. I'm going to take my projector off eco mode. I'm used to having them on eco mode all the time because the screens don't require a lot of light. So we'll take it off eco mode so we get the full 3600 lumens because that's what my projector is using right now. We have an ultra short throw hitting the screen. Only way you can do these floor setups, you have to be on ultra short throw. Can't do it on long throw, doesn't work well, and you can't do it on a short throw, it doesn't work well either. They have to be ultra short throws. This is why it's very important that you have screens that are ultra short throw compatible, because if you don't, you're going to have all kinds of issues. Now, as you see, red doesn't pull up. Let's go over here and let's grab a purple screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
So we get this a lot where we have people say, well, hey, look, I'm going to be in a dark environment. I'm really not going to see a difference. Yeah, you are. You're definitely going to see a difference. You get roughly around 30 and 50% if you're lucky from your projector. If you're lucky, you may get 50, but most of you receive 30. So this shows you right here on how much you're losing from your projector even if you're in the dark. Even if you're sitting in the dark, how much you're losing. So when I watch video demonstrations and I see people sitting in dark environments, no matter how high power your projector is, that's what I see on your screen. That's what we pick up. We don't see color. We see a washed out image. So if I were to take a white sheet of paper and I were to stick that against your screen, next to this black technology, your screen would disappear, just like that. Now, if you take a white surface, you put it against a gray screen, you'll see a slight improvement. If I take my black screen and I stick it against your gray screen, guess what happens to your screen? It doesn't exist anymore. It can't read contrast, it doesn't read color properly next to the technology, and this technology can blend into a gray screen's white levels extremely easy. It has a Heitner 10 sitting on top of it, which we demonstrated some of that on the silver Cinemax, which can turn gray screens yellow. That's pretty cool stuff too at the end of the day. I got to make more of that and use it for a demonstration because that was a cool screen. We don't make them anymore. We just did it for the time being, just for fun. But yeah, we sold a few of them here and there, a couple of dozens of them. But we really don't need it because, again, as I said before, gray screens is an obsolete product. But this is what you're picking up in the dark. And mind you, most projectors I see, well, actually the Epson LS500, I think it's a 5,000 lumen projector. The higher your lumen count's going to be, the faster your screen's going to wash out. The lumen count's not going to help your screen. It's extra light added to your screen. But I do this all the time. Right now, we're on site, like I said, and this is one of the demonstrations I had to show them. I'm actually using this section for right now, and when I'm done, and we moving on to someplace else. But we'll do it in every place we go to. I'll show you the same demonstration, no matter where we go, no matter what projectors we use, they can't read in the dark. So the one place I see that people on YouTube utilizing the most, the one environment is a dark environment. You guys are in dark environments all the time. And the reason why you're in dark environments, because we turn the lights on, your screen disappears. So the only place you have to really be able to show your screen actually works is the dark. And we can come there too. I can go in the dark with you and show you where your screen won't work. The dark can't save you at all, period. Your screen doesn't read. Watch this. Green screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
There you go. Pop on green. What do we get? It doesn't read. So white screens are the worst screens you can use because, again, the only benefit of a white screen is the fact that it's cheap to paint over. I wouldn't paint over a gray screen. Why would I go over to a company and spend an extra $100, $200 because the screen's gray just to paint over it? I'm just better off going with the white screen. It's cheap. So the green screen doesn't even have a purpose if I want to paint over it. It's not even worth my time. And for those of you saying, well, I have a gray screen, I see color. No, you do not see color. You don't even pick it up. You don't even see it. You're only seeing it because you don't have a more superior technology sitting behind it. That's why you see it. Take a black diamond, take a dark star 9, take our technology, stick it behind your screen and see what happens to it. Doesn't pick up, it won't read. That's what happens. Look at that. Let's go over here and let's read. Now, one of the things I find funny about the gray screen is how they brag about they bring up high white levels. No, you don't. And the reason why I say that is because we've done dozens of tests of our products versus gray screens. Your white levels come up with a little bit of tint to it because you can't read 100% white. Only white screens have that capability. This is why when we're doing demonstrations, we have to do something called white level test. We take 1,000 projectors, stick it in a full lit environment. We'll show different kinds of white surfaces against our products on white levels to show you where the white levels lay with our technology. It's not going to be so dark you can't see the screen. It's just going to basically tint a little bit because, again, it is dark technology. Where you're dealing with a gray screen, they claim to have the ability to read a 100% black level. This is why you see a lot of their demonstrations sitting in dark, you know, the woman with the black makeup on, stuff like that, to give you the illusion. But if you turn the lights on, the screen's gone. We can show our white levels, and we can do it outside, inside, off ceilings, anywhere we want at the end of the day, and show you where our white levels lay. As a matter of fact, one of the challenges I just launched a few minutes ago shows a 150-inch black screen displaying a snow screen level at 180-degree viewing angle. We could do that. I'll show you some more. Let me see. We get purple, slow color changer.
Getting that from YouTube.
Let's get the slow color changer.
These cookies just got the creamiest wave. Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
Level up your skin game. Moisturize and help protect your skin.
We can get to this color. Here we go. So it's a slow color changer. It's going to bring up colors. The screen's going to constantly change. And you'll notice that the white surface will remain the same. Now, like I said, the biggest lie, and I told myself the same thing too, that all the bells and whistles that you have on your projector is going to fix the problem. It's not. It's not going to fix the problem. That's why you're sitting in the dark. If it worked, you'd be in a fully lit environment and you would be operating just like a TV or like our demonstrations or like our challenge we just launched a few minutes ago. You can operate just like that if your screen worked. But because you have to be in a dark environment, that means your screen's not working. If you have an ambient projection screen, you can accept a little bit of light, but still you can't pick up a black level, an infinity 1 black level. You can't read that. You can't read color correctly. That's why you got to calibrate, because your colors don't come up correctly. And who wants to spend the time to sit there and calibrate a projector that just sat there and spent all this money? It's supposed to have billions of colors attached to it. It doesn't even sound right. I've never calibrated a projector ever. Never had to. So as it changes, you'll notice that the white surface stays the same. So the big lie we tell ourselves is the fact that our projector, because it has a billion colors, because it has maybe 5 million, 10 million, 20 to 1 contrast, I'm going to see pure black. I'm going to pick up amazing color. And I have a whopping 3,000 or 36 we have over here, and I'm going to be able to operate in a fully lit environment. If that was the case, people, when I go into YouTube and I do my little field trips, how come every single projector is sitting in either a medieval environment or a dark environment? You know why? Because they turned the lights on. They did it already. And they found out that the screen wasn't going to work the way they thought it was going to work, or projection wasn't working that well, because the screen's a failure, and they went in and darkened the environment. So even in the dark, when they're doing demonstrations saying, look how amazing the color looks, it's washed out. My projector cost me 60 bucks. It's 3600 lumens, has a 4000 to 1 contrast. It reads amazing on our black technology, our QUASAR, where on the white surface, not even going to work at all. So this projector is absolutely useless on a white screen. And as I said before, for those you're preaching about, what about the gray screen? Gray screen can't read a contrast level. So I'm going to do this. Hold on for a minute. Starfield screensaver. Am I going to see this? Now, we did this demonstration in the garage. I showed you in the demonstration with a simple cell phone flashlight. I'm able to wash a gray screen out. So if I can wash a gray screen out with just a little bit of light from a cell phone, what happens if I turn my lights on? So because your gray screen can't read the 100% black level, which is required for home theater, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have it on your projector to begin with, then that means that screen becomes obsolete. And if you think spending the money for a very expensive projector to fix the problem, you threw money out the window. You can't see it. And I've been informed sites where people have JVCs that make a P2 projector, sorry for those you own them, look like a paperweight. You're talking about a $90,000 machine. They can't read it. Now, I did this demonstration in the dark. We do a lot of demonstrations with the full lit environments because this is going to hit a little bit harder. When we do demonstrations in full lit environments, we know darn well screens can't read in those environments. We already know this from the door. But to come into their world in the darkness, where they make all these false accusations and claims about their products actually working, we're showing you that it doesn't. And for those who are saying, well, you know, it does work with the lights out. You spend how much money for a projector to be sitting in the dark all day long on an ambient light projection screen that's not reading it properly? Ooh, it's not good. That's not good. Not good at all. 8K, desired nature. Desired nature.
Getting that from YouTube.
Now, we're doing some demonstrations for something called a neon forest. If you ever seen one of those, are pretty cool. And that environment is super ultra dark in there. So we have to show them that, hey, look, if we're going to spend the money for your technology, why don't we just get a white screen for the floor? We have to show them why a white screen is going to be a bad idea. Red, visual effect.
Getting that from YouTube.
Determination is how.
Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that whole politician stuff. I'm not into it.
Wawa is a red drink.
See if we can get something here. There we go. So just like I showed you the colors, the reds, the blues, the greens, and all those different colors, same reaction. So are you actually seeing color in the dark? No, you can't see it at all, period. Now, if I were to take out our screen and put it over in the corner and show you on a standalone without our technology being there, then you would see some color. Now, can the screen see color? Yeah, they can see color. They can see it, but the quality is horrible. As you have to understand, all projectors can pick up on the screen. All of them can. The problem you have is, what's your quality level going to be? What are you getting from your projector? What's your quality level? What's your contrast quality level? What's your color quality level? What's your ambient light rejection technology quality level? That's what it comes down to. They all can read. You say when you get next to a more superior technology, it depends on how far it's going to make your screen look less superior and how more superior that technology is going to be. And quasars have insane ambient light projection embedded into them at FRE. Remind you, this is the same technology you had outside laying against the garage on a cardboard box using a projector that cost me $75. A 600 by 800 SVGA projector was able to look like a TV outside on a cardboard box. Inside, we can take what you call the halo lights, stick them right directly on top of the screen, and boom. Now, it's set up. I'm going to be hooking up pretty soon in the video studio, whatever you're going to call it. That area is super well lit. Any screens in there, if we decide to bring them in there, you won't last a hot second in there. And so on top of that, the screen has a halo system sitting on top of it, which means it's a bar light that actually sits around the screen as a frame to deliberately push light into the screen. If you can't survive off a cell phone flashlight, you're not going to survive against a halo system. But as for the lie we tell ourselves that our projectors are going to really fix the problem, well, no, it's not going to happen. You can't operate without our technology. And if you sit there and say, well, I can, no, you can't. That's why the challenges are there. Show me. It's not just for them, it's for everybody. Show me where your expensive projector, or whatever you paid for, sorry about that, at the end of the day, can produce the same thing we're doing in our demonstrations. Now, your projector may have the capabilities. It may have, but your screen will not give you that option at all, period. That's what you're falling into. That's the reason why we look at the Epson LS800 in the dark, the P2 projector in the dark, the Samsung, the 4K projector in the dark, LG's projectors in the dark. Every single one of those projectors set in the dark. And those are the worst because the ultra short throws are designed to be like TVs. They're supposed to replace TVs. Can't replace the TV if you can't operate in fully lit environments, and especially if you can't operate in the dark. And if you think your projector, as I said before, all the money you put into your projector, all the research you did for your projector, if you think that's going to really fix your white projection screen or gray projection screen, I'm here to tell you it's not going to work. And I've done tons of demonstrations on certified, more than anybody else on YouTube. We tested just about everything. Certified screens, yes, are going to give you better quality than the gray and white screens, but they're very expensive. If you're going to spend $5,000 for a screen, something we can take out for under $500. Good luck on that one. Other than that, our technology is it. And that's what it comes down to. So, you want to get what you paid for your investment, or basically you want to get ripped off in the process. Now, I'm saying you're not getting ripped off the certified screens. They do what they're designed to do. They just can't read the infinity level, and we pick up far more better color and contrast in their screens. On top of that, we can do things in our ambient light projection demonstrations that they can't do. You ever seen a black diamond attached to a ceiling? No. Not at all, period. So there you go right there. Oh yeah, I'm wearing my socks. I'm actually on site. When I'm on site, there's nobody in here. I'm the only one in this section over here. So yeah, I basically come here and chill. That's the one thing about basically being your own boss at the end of the day. Do pretty much what you want to do. But yeah. Yeah, look at that. Boom. Now when I'm out there, yeah, I got to suit up. When I'm in here, do whatever. Look at that. Is that crazy or what? Told you. You get that all the time. You say, but we're in the dark and the screen's going to work. Like, no, it's not. It's not going to work. But we have this conversation on forum sites like all the time. Let me see. AK desired nature, nature AK. What that brings it up?
Getting that from YouTube.
People get mad when he says, oh, he's pregnant. He says, I am a boss. That's what I am. You know, I'm not working for anybody else. Really?
Huge corporations are turning.
Oh my goodness, man. I hate when it gets down to the whole debates and all that stuff like that, because they just flood the airways with this nonsense. I mean, look, just get your own channel. Just put a subscription in for people to pay for it. That's what you do. If people are that eager to be bombarded by those commercials, put a channel in. Just all strictly for politics. I know they have them, but just put one in there and leave your stuff on there. I couldn't imagine people have kids and they have to watch smear campaigns and seeing some of the worst and awful things you ever heard. Kids need to hear that. Let me see. Let's go. Visual effects.
Getting that from YouTube.
Oh, let's do this one right here. 26 minutes on that. That is literally a freaking movie.
Try a new game, relax.
What do we have on this one? 19.
It's a vibe.
I think we're just gonna pay for the YouTube free. Look at this. This is crazy. That's 39 minutes just for that advertisement right there. I'm literally thinking about just paying for the YouTube commercial free, because it's insane. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're pushing everybody to pay for it. Because if you look at the commercials when they first started off, it was just one. Now they have them back to back. Now they have 3 of them that can run back to back. And now they have them at 39 minutes. That's just insane. That's crazy. And you can see more of those. Which people aren't going to like it. It's going to push them to go pay for the service. Much like Hulu. Hulu used to be commercial free. Used to be commercial free. And then all of a sudden these commercials started popping up all over the place. But if you wanted to get commercial free, which was already from the door commercial free, you had to pay for it now to get rid of the commercials. Yeah, marketing and companies, it's messed up on how they do things. There's our beautiful nebula. So that's one of the things we had to show them if we're doing any form of visual effects for the floor and they're going to be in a dark environment. One of the things that came up was, well, we're going to be in a dark environment anyway. What's the point of just basically paying for your product? Because at the end of the day, you're really not going to see a difference. And you are. Because you can't read, the white levels won't read. And they got all these colorful, abstract, beautiful designs and liquid going across the screen. It's pretty cool to look at. It just won't work without without our black technology. Gray screen. Watch this. This is embarrassing to watch on a screen that's actually gray. White screens can't read gray. Gray screens literally can't read gray. You need contrast to read gray. And I've done that many times. I've done a gray screen. As a matter of fact, I got this idea from a troll. A troll came into my channel and said, hey, why don't you put it on a gray screen and see who pulls the better gray screen, the black screen or the gray screen? And the black screen pulls better. You know why? The contrast level. That's why. Gray screens come up white when they try to produce gray because they don't have a contrast level in them. That's why. Let's go to darker gray. That's a darker gray right there. Let's go with black. Black screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
Black screen's on now. Yep. There's another way we test a screen that comes through, especially the certifieds. If they claim they can read black levels, we throw a black screen on. Pretty much sums it up. Green screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
Well, there we go. Short, sweet, quick, and fast. That's it. It's simple and plain. Because you're in the dark does not mean you're actually seeing colors. Your colors are not reading. They're not coming up at all, period. You are seeing, for some people saying, yes, I do see color. You do see color. It does pop up. But your quality of your color is extremely bad. It's poor. It's extremely poor. Especially for the caliber of the projector you're using. Some of you guys are using some pretty powerful machines. The fact that you're sitting in the dark with a projector that has an extremely short distance throw is pretty poor. But yet they look at it as a win-win. No, it's poor. It's very poor. I've got venues that can't even read. I've got 7,000, 6,000, 4,000, 5,000 lumen venue projectors that can't pick up on a white screen or a gray screen in a dark environment, because you got now an extra 6,000 to 5,000 lumens hitting the screen. This projector is 36. It can't read on a white screen. So when the salesperson sits there and tells you that all those beautiful colors and contrast is going to read on your screen in the dark, and it really doesn't make a difference because you're going to be to see it all, he just lied to you because you can't see it. Isn't that crazy? I like how when it started off, people thought the lighter the screen, the better the color. No, you got it backwards. It's the other way around. That's why the more expensive screens are darker, not lighter. It's right there. For anyone who sits there and says, oh no, gray screens pull high and better color. No, they don't. If you look at the certified screens, which screens are the more expensive in their lineup? Is it the light gray? Is it the white screen? Is it the mid gray, or is the ultra dark screens? The ultra dark screens cost more because they pull better color. That's why. If you have a screen with a darker screen, this is basic, simple ambient light rejection 101. Your screen's darker, it absorbs more light. It absorbs more light, which means your screen has less of a chance of fading and washing out in fully lit environments. So the darker the screen, the better the ambient light. If you look at the darker screens on the back of them, there's 0.8, 0.8, 0.9. They have really high gains attached to them. If you look at the lighter screens, they have a 2.0, 3.0, which is mid-gray. Mid-grays usually have 3.0 and somewhere between 4 and in that range. But when you reach those cheaper screens, then they have the 2.0, 0.1, 1.0. Those are the cheaper screens. So if your screen paint has a 2.0, that's extremely low. And very low. It's not even considered ambient light rejection in any way whatsoever. That's why people try to skip that and try to come up with their own gain. Now, if you want to come up with your own gain, you can do that. But you have to prove this. You have to prove that you have this capability. And not only do you have to prove you have that capability, you have to do something that no other screen is doing to actually claim that title. Like Elite Screen came out with that ceiling light rejection technology. They had to prove this. They had it. So if you're making your own gain, you're going to have to prove that. That's why we can put challenges up under our gain, and no one can match them because we can prove it. We have it. Can't say it's range gain because, again, Can't express that enough. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Yeah, he's probably in the room right now listening. Yeah, it's stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're going to tell me the same paint, nothing special added to it, no extra crystals or nothing into it whatsoever. It's the same paint. If I paint it in a different direction, that the game changes? How the freak does that even work? That's like saying if I paint the screen in a different direction, it changes colors. Yeah, that'd be some magic paint at the end of the day. That'd really be some magic paint. So that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is people just trying to make things up to try to, I don't know what that is. I couldn't even begin to even tell you. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not just saying it because the person's incomplete. He does dumb stuff all the time. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I've been around for a while. I've been around like 14 years in the business. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Man, if we're going to get to that point, we're going to start making up stuff like that. What's next? What's the next thing? Oh, I got a good one for you. Let's see. Here's a good one for them. How about if you paint the screen in a vertical position, it actually picks up higher frequencies for using for your Wi-Fi. Because if you're going to put that in there, you might as well put that in there too. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Please, have anybody right now, prove. Matter of fact, the person who did the testing on the screens, do me a favor. Go buy that product and show me this theory actually works. Because I want to see this range gain. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. There's another company who did it too. It's a company called GM Go, which we didn't do any testing of their products, but they did deny us a projector. They didn't want us to come over because we knew we were going to test the crap out of it. But they literally had on an Amazon page that their projector's lumen count jumped if you use it a screen that had ambient light projections. And this projector was like 2,400 lumens if it was. And it claimed that if you use it on an ambient light projection screen, it jumps to 36. Like, what the freak? We're lying like this now? This is what we're doing. This is the new thing. We just make outrageous lies with no testing, no videos, just what we do. All right. Wow. Oh, no problem. We'll just see you in court. That's all. Because someone's going to take them to court for that. Epson did it. They took Valve to court for that nonsense. Yeah, someone's going to challenge you and take you to court. Yeah, we definitely have to challenge that one. I think I'm going to challenge that one in September for that fellow. I'm going to challenge that range gain in court. Because, yeah, I got to know this. We're going to do it. I'm going to file a lawsuit against Mr. Rogers for the PSP products. For the false claim of range gain, because that stuff doesn't exist. And the fact that he has it posted on his site, unless he removed it, but the fact he has it posted on his site, I'm challenging that in court. I'm definitely going to challenge that in court. Unless he can show some videos before we reach court that this stuff actually does exist. Other than that, I'm challenging him. I'm going to challenge your company. Yeah, because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, getting back to what we're doing here. Yeah, I'm definitely, Mr. Rogers or Danny, what you call yourself, I'll see you in court. I'm going to definitely challenge that. Because that is not true. You can't do that. That's virtually impossible. How do you paint a screen and get two gains out of the screen? You're going to have to back that up. If not, I'll see you in court. I'm going to sue you for that. Because and that's fraud too. That's also considered fraud. That's consumer fraud and fraud. Can't do that. Can't make things up on your site. And that is basically hurting the consumer at the end of the day. I'm challenging that. I'm going to go pop over to City Hall today and go see where I got to go to file for that. I'm definitely going to challenge you on that. Now, he's not going to remove it off this website. If he removes it off this website, then you know at the end of the day, I was 100% right. Well, I was right anyway. But you know I was right either way. That's why they remove stuff, because they know they're going to be sued and they're going to get caught. Like that whole goopity-goo nonsense, that the water system that he put into it. He was basically selling you half paint, half water, but said it worked as a delivery system, which we'll bring that up in court also too, stating that the paint would evaporate if it didn't have the water in it. But meanwhile, half of that is water. So you pretty much paid for water and paint. That's what you paid for. And he removed that when we made claims that we were going to actually buy his product and stick it up on a live stream, so we didn't tamper with it, and see if it drained the water out of it, see if it evaporated. And that disappears. I'm going to challenge him on that one in court. That whole range gain, oh heck yes. We're going to challenge you in that in court. Because you got to. Someone's got to put their foot down. And if they don't put their foot down, you're going to have people with all kinds of false accusations popping up. And that's why hats off to Epson. Hats off to them for going out and calling nonsense on Valva, because Valva did that nonsense. Valva went out and made claims that their projectors were pushing at freaking 6,000 lumens. And Epson was like, no, you're not doing that. Epson went in and basically challenged them in court, and they lost. Valve lost. They couldn't back up the claim that their projectors were doing 6,000 lumens. And that's good, because this stuff needs to be cut down. The only people that are upset by this are people that are committing the crimes. Customers are not bothered by this because customers do not want to get ripped off. Oh, we got to do a whole segment in the dark. I'm going to get another setup. I'm going to do a whole segment in the dark. I'm going to get some high-powered projectors and see if these things actually read on white screens. With all the bells and whistles and all this power these projectors have, will they be able to read on a white screen versus our technology? New videos. That's a new thing we want to start doing. I'm start doing that from now on, because that's, like I said, it's what I told myself when I bought the BenQ MS500, that I literally believed that when I saw the family on the box, and I was going to get that same image on my wall, and I thought I was going to get this amazing image, and yeah, it didn't work out the way I thought it did. It came out horrible, absolutely horrible. Pink screen. So I didn't get exactly what I thought I was going to get. Nothing close to it. And that's where I started talking to my buddy, and I was like, hey, look, my screen is, the colors are washed out. There's no contrast. I can't even have the lights on. You know, it's just horrible. I don't like it. Because I had monitors. I gamed off monitors. I said, well, you can get a Grey Wolf. Grey Wolf's like $3,000. Like, no, I depleted all my funds building a PC. Don't have the money right now. And I needed something right away, because I couldn't go back to freaking them graphic cards and staring at that freaking white wall. That was not going to work. And then my funds were gone. Like, I spent a lot of money building those PCs. So he's like, well, they got this YouTube paint, you know, it's like a gray and black paint mixture or something. He said with pearl essence and some stuff in it. I was like, fine, I'll go get that. So I went down over to Home Depot, because that's where it was at, to go pick it up. And the guy came back and said, oh, you're a couple years too late. They stopped making, like, it was two ingredients they stopped making. And I was like, dang, damn it. I had to go back home to that. Now I was going to get rid of my projector. I literally was going to get rid of my projector and go sell it and get 2 monitors. I don't care what kind of monitor. I just needed a monitor in there, because I wasn't going back to a projection screen. Now imagine if I had, and I was going to walk out, about to walk out the door. If I had walked out that door, this would never existed. You'll be stuck with these fake knockoff paints that can't back themselves up at the end of the day, and overpriced, expensive certified screens, and we wouldn't exist. And these people will continue to rip you off. But as I sat there, I prayed about it. And the Lord directed me where to go in the store to buy what I needed. And when I got home, I mixed everything together and painted it up, and boom, the screen blew up. That's the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. And I wasn't thinking about selling it at all. I was going to keep it for myself. I'm sitting up there like, oh, shoot, I got myself an amazing screen paint. Man, I can paint as much as I want. And then my buddy came in, and he was like, you should sell this. And that's how it got started. And I thought to myself, will anybody buy this? Like, I'm curious. So built myself a website, did a whole bunch of research and demonstrations, and somebody came in and bought it. I'm my first customer. I remember I still got my dollar bill for my first customer. Came in and bought it and purchased it. And I was like, oh, shoot, it sells. I can make money off of this. And then that's when the Lord started blessing me with more and more amazing products, and this is how we got it. Visible technology, 3D projection screen paints. That's why if you go to my Digital One channel, you see some of the crazy stuff we're working on that we have now. We had it 10 years ago. Now 11 years ago now. Yep. So it started making serious money. And at one point, to support my company, I sold on eBay. I sold vintage toys. I was a collector. I sold vintage toys on there. I would go to places I know how to find vintage toys. And the Lord would direct me to these places where to go to find these toys. This is how I was finding toys in mint condition. G.I. Joes, Thundercats, Barbies, all that stuff. The Lord was directing me to these places where to go. And I was buying the toys, and I buy one for myself, and I buy one to sell on eBay. And I started selling them to support my company, because I didn't want a loan from a bank. I wanted to do it myself. And that's what I did. I used eBay to basically, I made money off eBay to support my company. And when my company was strong enough to stand on its own, because we had to go to so many different forum sites to back it up, we had to do tons of videos. I had beta testers that came on board, And then once that company contacted us from overseas, boom, that's when everything went through the roof. Like people were just processing orders left and right. Because we had a company pick this up. That's why you go to that page called Facebook Europe Digital One, and you'll see our stuff over there, overseas. And you got people make green screen paints now today, and they're nowhere near where we used to be at 10 years ago, or now 11 years ago. So that tells you the level we were sitting on and how God was basically blessing our hand. And here I am now, doing demonstrations on blood technology. Is that cool or what? Yep, if I had decided to just turn around and that day and walk out and say, you know what, I'm selling my projector because that's what popped up in my head. I don't want that thing. It's horrible. Like the colors are horrible. The contrast is horrible. I'm coming off Sony monitors from my console system, from my PC. I'm like, I'm going to take it back and I'm going to sell it and just get my, get 2 monitors. They're not going to be as big as the ones I have, but at least it's something. It's better than looking at the freaking projector. So I know that feeling from the door. So, yep, when the Lord directed me to go, he said, nope, you're not going to sell the projector. Go out and buy this, that, and the other. And I picked everything up and went over and mixed it. And like I said, I wasn't planning on selling it. What for? Didn't need the money. I have a degree in culinary arts. I'm good. So I was already working a job at a restaurant. I was making very good money. Been there for a long time. Built up a little seniority while I was there. So I was good. So I was just going to keep the paint for myself, or maybe just give it away for free, because I wasn't into the field of the home theater section of it. I'm a PC gamer at the end of the day. I build and design computers and all that stuff. That's what I was into. So that's what I was also making money off too. I was actually doing PC mods. So wasn't really interested in this whole part right here. And the only reason why it changed my mind is when I'm sitting there watching Futurama with the lights on, my buddy comes in and goes, oh, this is freaking cool, man. You should sell this. And that's what did it. That's what triggered it for me to go, maybe somebody will buy this. I looked at all the research, watched everybody else on YouTube, see how they were doing all their demonstrations at that particular time. Everybody was sitting in dark environments. It took forever for them to paint the screens in because they were copying at the GUI screen. Everybody was taking hours to paint the surface and sand the surface and prime the surface. And we're doing demonstrations like paint it in 1 hour or less. Or, because at the time 1 hour was actually pretty fast considered to the 6 and 7 hours it took to paint a screen through other companies. And you can paint it on any surface, and you don't have to worry about priming. You can paint it on cardboard. You can paint it on drywall. You can paint it on a screen that's all marked up, but the one you see me painting the screen in, the surface was marked and damaged, and I was able to paint over it with no problem. And by doing those demonstrations and doing the opposite of what everybody else was doing, our company took off. Now, next you know, I didn't really realize how much money I was literally making, because I wasn't used to seeing. I made good money when I worked at my job, but not the kind of money I was making on screen painting. I really didn't see the difference until one day I was throwing all my money into a shoebox. All the money I made from Crystal Age or digital painting, after I got done paying off its taxes and expenses and everything I had to pay for, I threw everything into a box when I got done. And I really didn't need the money because I worked. The job was paying me $25 an hour, so I didn't need it. And I did sometimes open and clothing, sometimes I got half days in. So really just used my money from the job to buy what I wanted. And one day I went into my box to get something, and I realized I had 8 boxes up there full of money. A lot of money. And one of the boxes, I think I had 2 Nike boxes, had nothing but dollar bills in it. One box had nothing but quarters in it. I got to throw all my quarters up in there. And I was like, oh shoot, how much money am I actually making? And I'm thinking that we don't really have to work anymore. And I quit my job. Came in and told him I'm no longer. I got started a business and I'm quitting. And the guy was so nice about it. I walked out the door and realized that I didn't have to sell on eBay anymore either, because the business was literally making that much money. If you go and look at my containers, look at my old videos, we were making $500 a quart. Yeah. $500 a quart. So when you sit back and you think about it and think like, I literally just made about $400 in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes or 3 minutes of a conversation, someone calls in, they go, hey, buy the paint. What size is your screen? 120 inch. What kind of projector you're using? Blah, blah, blah. All right, there you go. That's it. Money hits the account. I'm like, what in the world? I just made $500 in like 2 or 3 minutes. That's when it hits in. You start thinking like, okay, I'm at a different level here. I got to figure out how we got to do this. And this is where I started investing more of my money into my company. This is the reason why we have more demonstrations than most people have on fixed frame screens and motorized projection screens and tension screens and all the other stuff, because we put money back into our business, where other people don't do that at all. I'm not saying the other companies, they put money back on their business. That's why I see the investment in their technologies grow. But other people, no. Y'all have had the same stuff for like 7 years. Nothing's changed. I even went out and bought projector mapping technology to see how that would work on my screen paint. I paid $1,000 for that setup. When I bought a whole bunch of certifieds, because I would go to certified, pages and look at the black diamond, all the big screens and everything. And people were like, well, if your product's so good, let's see you take out a certified. That's how that got started. I was like, challenge accepted. So I started buying all the certified screens up and doing testing against them. Just like when a guy came in and said, well, hey, you can't talk about dedicated theater rooms unless you have one. I was like, let's go build one. There you go. Sky blue screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
Oh, got some white colors here. I want all sky blue. There we go. Let's get some bright colors in there. See? So this technology, as a quasar, as you can see, can read high bright colors. You need a white level to do this. And when I get people saying, well, no, yeah, you do. You don't understand the science behind black technology. Those people who claim to have it, you don't understand the science behind it. You don't understand that the screen has to produce a 100% black level. If your screen comes out gray, you failed that one. And you should be to operate on ultra short though, and the fact that none of your darker mixes can't do it, that tells me at the end of the day that there's something in there that shouldn't be in there that's causing your screen not to read on an ultra short throw, which you should have that capability to do so with no problem. Black paint can pick up on an ultra short throw. Gray paint can pick up on an ultra short throw. If you can't read on an ultra short throw, what is in your product that causes it not to do so? That's why I think there's some kind of oil. Oh, it's definitely oil, and I just thought about that. Because in that demonstration, when he takes the screen, he tilts it up toward the window, it gets that shine that bounces off of it. There's oil in it. There's definitely oil in it. That would basically explain the separation issue, where you see the little black powder, the pigment powder, like dots of it, clumps of it on the screen. That would explain a lot right there, why it's not mixing so well. And that's why it constantly requires you to keep stirring. Every time it settles, you have to keep stirring and stirring and stirring it, because it separates, much like when you put water and paint together, it separates. That would trigger the bubble effect. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, shoot. I know what's in your stuff. I literally know what's in it. That would explain the separation issue. Because even if you put water in it, water, it depends on, if you put a lot of water in it, you're going to have a lot of problems, because then it's going to weaken the product. It's going to weaken it by a lot. It's going to have a problem being able to marry to the original surface, which was the primer. It couldn't marry to the primer. That's what all the white specks were. That was the primer pushing through. But the fact that it was changing colors at will means there was something in it that was causing extreme separation. Gee, but you add water and oil into that, you know what that'll do to a screen? And that's the reason why I can't run on ultra short throws, because that oil will cause a hot spotting for the screen. Oh, yeah, we got to get that stuff down here. I got to break it down. I literally got to break it down now. Okay, I'm going to find somebody in another state. They're not going to mention who they are. We're not going to tell who they are. We got to get it down here. I got to break this thing down. I got to film what we know what it is. I know exactly what it is. That would explain a lot. That would explain. The pigment even would have blended in water. It would have blended in water easily with no problem. What caused it to separate like that means there's something, and there's a stronger element in there that's causing it to separate. And what would do that is oil would do that. Now, the reason why I come with the oil theory is because the first paint that he called himself giving away for free was body gel, and body gel is oil. That's a type of oil in it. And that caused the paint to pretty much become hot spotting with the projectors. It was smearing and oh shoot, it's popping in my head. I'm seeing it now. the goopity goo had oil in it, because when he painted it down, you could see where the roller was just smearing all over the screen. It was just smearing all over the screen. It wasn't painted down correctly. There's oil in it. Just freaking oil in the paint. That would explain so much. Why would you put? That's a mess. That's a mess. That's nasty. You know how hard that is to clean up? You got an oil substance. It's going to hit your floor, your clothes, anything. You know how hard that's going to be to clean up? That's a mess. That would explain a lot. All right, I'm sorry. My brain goes off in like different directions, and I start breaking things down in my head. This is how I basically work at the end of the day. I'm just basically going back to his older videos, and I'm looking at why the roller was smearing around. Like the roller wasn't even turning. It was just pushing to push the paint around the screen just to get the surface wet. Yeah, because you can't paint it in. And anytime when you see somebody request a light roll over top a heavy roll, that's because the light roll adds less friction to the screen, and there's a better chance of you being able to cover the surface without basically reviewing any kind of streak marks, or basically the screen basically deteriorating as the brush starts to hit the surface. That's the reason why. And the reason why I know this is because it's a reaction that happens with silver tickets. When we paint over a silver ticket has a special coating on it. So if you were to go up and down on the screen all day long, even if you were to hit the brush light on it, we're going to have less friction to the surface, and it's would cause less streaks or screen deteriorating in front of you. A lighter roll instead of putting a heavy roll would basically reduce that. But the problem is it's still going to bleed through. We know how to get around that. And that also happens with child protective walls, but also too has a coating, because I went through that in the house I was living in. We went heavy on it. It was basically reviewing the wall on the other end. It was pushing through, but a lighter coating, a lighter roll on it, basically adds less friction to the screen, and that basically causes less of you being able to see the screen deteriorate in front of your eyes. Oh, shoot. So that's why I would require the heavy roll and the light roll. Huh, you told on yourself that fast. I've been doing this for years. Come on, I'm gonna figure it out either way. And if they figured our stuff out, well, that's what the matching betters are for. Get to work. They just launched another one. Another one on flexing, and that's a doozy one too, because I got the one with the ceiling with the vortex in it, and that's a headache one to do. Well, not for us, but you guys, it's gonna be a headache.
Maggot extremists are pushing.
Oh my goodness, like they're all over the place. These ads are everywhere. I like these, just so I can deal with it. But that politician nonsense, ugh, nobody wants to see that. Yeah, that's awful. That's awful. Well, see, good thing I didn't walk out the door, eh? Now, for people who make screen paint products, they would love to see me go away. I know you would, because again, I'm a nightmare to you. I know I'm a nightmare to you. Because the more technology we engineer, the more the bar goes up. And the higher the bar goes up, the harder you have to work. Good. Then you know you're working for your money at the end of the day. Good. And you guys don't like us. The customers love us at the end of the day. Because we keep everybody on their toes. You would love for me to play nice and do nothing. Or if we do dark environments, I'm still going to blow your stuff out of the water. It doesn't make a difference. You know that, right? Let's be honest here. If I go in the dark with you guys, I'm in your world now. I can take your stuff out in your own world. You can't come out where I play at. I play in fully lit environments. You can't come out there and play. You can't even go outside and play with me. So yeah, I can come into your backyard and I can take your stuff out. And I've done it multiple times. So where can you go? There is no place to go. When you think about it, you can't go in the dark. You can take your stuff out in there too. You're not reading the contrast up next to my black screen in the dark. That's not going to happen. So I don't know. All right. Hope you enjoyed this right here, people. Just showing you basic on why being in the dark is not going to fix your washout worries and woes. That you're still going to have to deal with the fact that your projector can't see color. It won't see contrast. It's not going to read it. 4K Snow Cottage.
Getting that from YouTube.
Let's see if it can make my screen unwatchable. No, it can't. Because it has a heightener 10 sitting on top of this baby. Quasars have heightener 10s on them. Consider the fact, if your gray screens and white screens, let's say gray screen, they do the most bragging. If you're sitting in a fully lit, sorry, you can't go on fully lit, I forgot you don't work in there. If you're sitting in the dark, trying to produce a somewhat decent color, we can come in here and we can take that from you. You understand? And if we put you in our environment, which is going to be soon a screen sitting in an environment that meters don't even pick up in, which we've done this before, we call max out zones. But not even worse, this screen has a halo sitting on top of it, not a cell phone light sitting 5 feet from a screen. The halo light sits directly on top of the screen. Your screen will no longer cease to exist. It will cease to exist, put it that way. We can turn out the lights with the halo system on. We can still generate, and you can't do it. Now, one thing about black technology is when you're showing it off, you can't make false accusations. Now, for me to say, hey, this black screen pulls up 100% white level, that's a lie, because it can't do it. No darker screens can do it, because again, this is a sacrifice field. And I talk about sacrifice fields all the time. Now, the gray screens, on the other hand, they talk about how they pull heavier contrast levels. The problem is when I see these demonstrations involving these contrast levels, they're always done in these really dark environments. And as I said before, we're doing contrast levels. You have to be to show that your screen works in a fully lit environment, because contrast is also going to work with the lights on also. That's why we did the same snowstorm at 180 inches outside at a 180-degree viewing angle. You don't have any doors, you have no windows, nothing protecting your screen. And you have any idea what lighting out there does to a projector, even at 4,000 lumens? It destroys it. How much lumens you think I have left at 27 feet from a screen that has to travel outside and hit a screen at 180 inches and produce that level and still pick up at a 180-degree viewing angle? That's a real powerful screen you're looking at that does that. I bet you guys can't do it on a black level. Take your screen outside, drop it at 27 feet at 180 inches, see if you can read a star field. Because for us, it wouldn't be the star field. We can do star fields all day long. We're black screens. It'd be the white levels for us. For you guys, it'd be contrast. So not only will your contrast fail, but your color will also fail. And your screen will completely wash out, which means you have no color, no contrast, and no form of ambient light rejection technology. That's why when I showed you in the challenge, you'll see the contrast come up with the woman's face, pulls up with no problem, and then you'll see the white level pop up. Now, for those of you, again, getting back to topic here, that feel that if you buy an expensive projector, that it's going to fix all the bells and whistles, it's going to be able to allow you to pick up that beautiful color, you're not seeing it. I'm sorry to say, but you're just not seeing it. The money you spent for your projector, you got 30 and you're lucky you got 50. It's the equivalent of going to a store and buying a projector and someone cutting it in half and taking all your money. Because that's what they did. Because you won't be able to use the other half of that projector. Let's see, we can read our white levels quite nicely. Somebody did this in a dark apartment on our black technology saying, hey, the screen can't read. Oh, September's coming, just to let you know. Can't wait for that date, and I'll tell you why. Finally, people, finally, I'm going to get this individual in a courtroom where he can't run. There's no place to run in that room, in that courtroom. He can't go anywhere. He is stuck between me, the judge, and the lawyers. He can't go anywhere. That's what I'm so happy about. September and the next couple of months coming up. No more hiding behind YouTube. No more hiding behind your phone. No more hiding behind anything. You're going to be in a courtroom with me. And let's see, all those lies and everything you said about my products are actually true. Yeah, I can't wait. You have no idea how excited and how happy I'm about this. I think that's everybody's dream, to bring their trolls into a courtroom and prosecute them. Oh, and by the way, just to let you know, you can't go home and talk about it when it's done, because I'm going to put a gag order on you. You can't talk about anything. As a matter of fact, I'm pushing to have you removed off the internet altogether. It's a cybercrime. That's going to be revoked, which means they can basically terminate his access to online. And I mean for everything, not just for YouTube, I mean everything. No longer online, ever. Can you imagine that? That's horrible, isn't it? Yep. Committed crimes. Anyone who commits a cyber crime online, they take away that from you. Can't have it. Can't have access online. Let's see. Let's go over here. There's nothing really to talk about. We're done. Yellow screen? We do yellow screen yet? Yeah, let's do yellow screen. Or pocket. Yellow screen saver. Got Yellowstone. Oh, there's a bright yellow right there. Boom, told you. So, bottom line is, yeah, if you're in the dark right now and you got your projector set up, which is sad, you should not be in the dark. But if you're in the dark anyway with your projector, and you're thinking, well, I see color. No, you actually can see color. It's just the quality that you're picking up. It's very poor. You go out and get yourself a certified screen or one of our technologies, and you'll see exactly how bad your color comes up. That's why those screens cost that kind of money, and that's why our screens cost that kind of money. Our screens are not expensive, to tell you the truth. We beat the certifieds, which I find interesting. I told you about the whole certified theory, is that I see a lot of people on forum sites. Hold on for a minute. I want to do a, neon purple screen. I see a lot of people designing their screen paints behind certified screens. They figure if they get a screen paint that's as good as a certified or matches a certified, then they have a top dollar screen. Problem you have is you can't compete with me. We took out the certified. And if you don't believe me, then go to my YouTube channel. Dig it up. We had them all. Matter of fact, the last screen I needed was Black Diamond, and I got 5 of those over here. I even got Daylight's new dark gunmetal screen. It cost $6 grand. Beat that one too. So if your whole idea was to model your screen paints around these guys at the end of the day, we could take those out far less. So again, what do you have? You can't come against us. You can't, if you're matching a certified, and we could take out a certified, you can't come across me. You can't come to me. How are you going to take out my screen when we take out certifieds? That's why we have people, the match or better, challenge me not, deny me not, flexing. Those demonstrations are posted to show at the end of the day where we stand among everyone else. Because the problem we had at one point where people just kept making these consumptions that we were the same as they were. We got the same product they do. We do the same thing for far less, for far cheaper, blah, blah, blah. All right, then. You want to run your mouse? Then there was our challenges. Knock them out. If you're the same as me, do the same thing I do, you should have no problem beating my challenges. And keep in mind, the longer you wait, the more they accumulate. If we do 4 videos a day on these challenges, I got over 11,000 in the vault and climbing. So you got a lot of work. You better get it done before ad tech launches, because when ad tech launches, every single one of those is a challenge. It's going to absorb sunlight. Why would I not do that? That means you're going to have to be able to absorb sunlight just like that technology. Now, keep in mind the match or better means that you have to do the exact same video we're doing. If I'm at 250 inches, you'll be at 250 inches. I'm at 180, you'll be at 180. If I do to 150, you'll be at 150s. You will do everything that we do in the video exactly. Match or better. That's what a match is. Red and red, green and green, blue and blue, orange and orange, same thing. So that cuts down on a lot of the nonsense. Customers. Go to any one of these people, anybody, not just them, anybody. You go, hey, look, hey, it's this guy on YouTube, Black Series Edition. They got these challenges out. What do you think? And they say, oh, we think they're fake. They're not real. Well, if they're not real and they're fake, then guess what? Get to work. Because if it's so easy and if it's so fake, at the end of the day, you should be able to do it, right? All right, then. Chop, chop. Talk is cheap. Get it done. If you think that's worse, wait, you guys see for you tomorrow. Oh, we found this demonstration on the Casio laser projector. Good gracious. This is bad. This is going to be one of the worst challenges. Not say worst challenge for them, it's going to be horrifying. It's going to be absolutely horrifying. So I got bored one day. Anytime you see me do challenges where I say I got bored one day, this is when it's going to be pretty bad. Because I got to challenge myself because I'm bored. The sunbather, that's a nightmare. Now, if you ever seen the sunbather, that's where we take a 1,000 projector and we actually build a deck outside of the window, set the projector on it, make sure it's drenched in sunlight. Fire it off. Now, mind you, you got a projector that's bathed in sunlight. How strong do you think your lumen count's going to start off with? Pretty much next to nothing. And then you're going to push through glass. You're going to travel 13 feet and go through a 1,000-watt lamp and still hit the screen and produce. That's one of the ones coming up. And the other one is the Casio. So the Casio demonstration is a projector that sits 11 feet in the air and it's outside. It's actually directed downward. The screen is laying flat to the ground. So light can constantly pass all around, and it's done outside in the daytime. You got to pass that demonstration. It shows extreme viewing angle capabilities. I'm going to be posting it soon, so you can get a chance to see that one next. We're going to make that a challenge. We'll give you, matter of fact, there's no timeline. I'll just try to see if we can get it done. All right, we're done here. Got all our little colors in here, proved our theory, because when I come on here, I can't just get on camera and go, well, you know, hey, in the dark, you know, your screen doesn't really function correctly, even if you have a good projector. It's just not going to see at all. And it just tells you at the end of the day that if we can read these colors, no problem, then that means you're spending too much for your projector, because you're spending all that money for your projector to try to get it to work in the dark. It's not going to work in the dark. You get 30 to 50% of your machine. 50 if you're lucky. It's like before I go, the whole theory I talked about the projectors that were ripping people off saying, hey, you spend money for my projector, you could do a 150-inch screen. No. People bought those projectors because they literally thought they were going to do a 150-inch screen and found out they couldn't do it. Because you know what? Pixel shifting technology within the projector. You need enough pixels to compress to sharpen the image. Now, if your picture's at 100-inch or 120-inch and a 35 under the 150 mark, that means you have enough pixels to compress. And this is what I asked Valva in the demonstration. I said, how are you compressing that 150? Where are the extra pixels coming from to be able to compress the screen if you max out your size at 150? Which means you would have some kind of deterioration, screen door effect. It's going to look pretty bad. Probably the equivalent of looking through like a bottle of water. It's going to be really blurry. So if you notice that most of the screens are actually under the 150 mark. So if you bought the $3,100 or whatever you paid for that projector, and you paid for the massive 150-inch, you're not getting that. And if you paid for the ability to be able to have a somewhat 4K image, you're definitely not getting that either. You're not getting it either way, but you're not getting it that way either. Whew. And yet I can take my projector here at $60 and I can produce at 150 inches, or I can do 140 inches on a Optima GT 55 and 56 outside. It's only designed to do 100 inches, and I can basically hit a screen at 140 inches outside. That tells you right there. Comes down to your screen. People, look, if you got the right screen, you don't have to be hit by a gimmick that's going to tell you that, hey, if you buy this projector, you're going to do 150. You can do 150, period. P2s, we can get 160 out of P2s easily. There you go. And if you're saying, well, what about the there's no deterioration, your screen's black. Your screen literally is contrast. So you're not going to have that issue. You're going to detail depth the whole 9 yards. What about screen door effect? Screen door effect is black. It's a black screen that pops up on your screen. Little screen door effect. It doesn't exist on a black screen. Benefits of black technology on motorized projection screens. Well, number one, you can actually advance your screen size. Motorized projection screens are usually roughly, if you got one at say 92 inches, your border is about 2 inches wide. So you're losing 8 inches off your screen automatically from the door. Screen would be make it 100 inches. Now, if you take 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from each side and 2 inches from the bottom, you can code all that to black technology. Now you have expanded your screen size up to a whopping 100 inches, even though you paid for 92. So you get an extra 8 inches off your screen. And you can use it in a fully lit environment. What is the advantage at 235.1 in black screens? You don't go through the zebra effect. So the zebra effect is basically if you have a screen that's 16:9, you have a projector that does 235.1. If you do a 235.1, you have the bars at the top and the bottom that are gray, and then you have the frame around the screen that's black. That's called a zebra effect. That's what we call it. You can go to Silver Ticket. They have the curtains. If you want to put curtains around your screen, put your little curtains up there. That looks tacky as I don't know what. You got curtains at the top and curtains at the bottom. No, that's to give you the black bar look to it. Cinema bar. Or with our black technology, we can paint it in. It doesn't make a difference what size your screen you do. You can do 1610, 16:9, 235.1, 4.3, or 1.1. You always have the black border there. They're edgeless. blackboard screens or borderless. That's why. There you go. All right, I'm done here, people. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time. I'm going to get ready to suit up, and I have to go to another site in a few minutes. I'm going to do a walkthrough right there. I'm going to go check out, see what they have over there. This place is actually really nice looking, so I got to think of something really crazy we can do in there to give it like a kind of an elegant, I want an elegant design for that setup. So I'm going over there next. Hope you enjoyed. I'm not going to be here much longer. I got it probably about another day here, and I'm out. And I'm going to be popping over to the other site. Gotta go. Thank you for your time, and God bless. Oops, there we go. Boop.